Imagine being in love so deeply that nothing could tear you apart, except the very people who raised you. This is the story of Sarah James and Abraham Phillips, a love that faced rejection, heartache, and ultimately, redemption. But what happened when the walls of prejudice crumbled? Stay tuned, because this story will change how you see love and forgiveness forever. Can love truly conquer all? Or does the weight of family expectations and societal norms prove too heavy to bear? Let's find out. Sarah James was the kind of girl who lit up every room she entered. With her bright smile and infectious laughter, she was adored by her friends and family. But there was one thing that set her apart from the rest: her heart belonged to Abraham Phillips, a charismatic black man with dreams as big as his love for Sarah. They met during their college years, two souls drawn together by fate. Have you ever fallen in love with someone your family didn't approve of? Share your experiences in the comments below. As their relationship blossomed, so did the challenges they faced. Sarah's father, Mr. Kingsley, was a traditional man with strong beliefs about race and relationships. When he found out about Abraham, his reaction was explosive. "You will not bring that man into my house," he shouted, his voice echoing through their home like thunder. Sarah felt torn between her love for Abraham and her loyalty to her father. It was as if she was standing on a precipice, one step away from losing everything she held dear. She recalled a moment when she sat on her bed, tears streaming down her face, holding Abraham's picture tightly. "Why does it have to be this way?" she whispered into the silence. Despite the rejection, Sarah and Abraham's love only grew stronger. They would sneak out to meet each other, sharing dreams of a future where love triumphed over hate. But reality was harsh. One evening, as they strolled through the park, Sarah turned to Abraham with a heavy heart. "What if my father never accepts us?" she asked, fear flickering in her eyes. What would you do in Sarah's shoes? Would you fight for your love or give in to family pressure? Let us know in the comments. Years passed, and against all odds, Sarah and Abraham decided to get married. The ceremony was intimate, filled with friends who supported them. As they exchanged vows, Sarah couldn't help but think of her father's absence. It was bittersweet. They were starting their own family, but there was still a void left by Mr. Kingsley's rejection. They welcomed two beautiful children into their lives, little rays of sunshine that brought joy and laughter into their home. Yet, every milestone was tinged with sadness as Sarah longed for her father's acceptance. Time went by, and Mr. Kingsley's health began to decline. It was during this time of reflection that he realized the weight of his decisions. Lying in his hospital bed, he picked up a pen and began to write. A letter filled with regret and longing for reconciliation. Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a constant attitude. Martin Luther King Jr. This quote echoed in Mr. Kingsley's mind as he penned his heartfelt apology to Sarah and Abraham. When the letter reached Sarah's hands, she felt a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, but most importantly, hope. Could she forgive the man who had hurt her so deeply? That night, she shared the letter with Abraham, who took her hand gently. What would you do if you received an apology from someone who once rejected you? How would you respond? Share your thoughts below. After much contemplation, they decided to visit Mr. Kingsley in the hospital. Walking into that sterile room filled with machines and the faint smell of antiseptic was daunting. But Sarah took a deep breath and stepped forward. As she looked at her father, frail and vulnerable, all those years of pain washed over her like a wave. "Dad," she said softly, "I'm here." In that moment, she realized that forgiveness wasn't just about letting go, it was about healing. Mr. Kingsley looked up at his daughter with tears in his eyes. "I'm so sorry for rejecting you and Abraham," he whispered hoarsely. "I let my fears cloud my judgment." The air was thick with emotion as Sarah and Abraham exchanged glances. This was the moment they had longed for. If you're moved by this story of love and forgiveness, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community for more inspiring stories like this one." Sarah embraced her father tightly, tears streaming down both their faces. "We've built a beautiful life together," she said, "and I want you to be part of it." In that embrace, years of hurt began to fade away. The journey toward forgiveness is never easy. It takes courage and strength to confront past hurts and embrace change. But when love leads the way, miracles can happen. Remember to click the notification bell so you never miss out on our uplifting stories. Your support means the world to us. As time went on, Mr. Kingsley became an integral part of Sarah and Abraham's lives. He watched his grandchildren grow with pride and joy, something he thought he'd never experience because of his prejudices. With tears of forgiveness still glistening in their eyes, Sarah, Abraham, and Mr. Kingsley began to navigate the complex waters of rebuilding their relationship. It was a journey that would require patience, understanding, and love, qualities that had already brought them this far. In the weeks that followed their emotional reunion, Sarah and Abraham made it a point to include Mr. Kingsley in their lives. They invited him over for family dinners, where laughter filled the air, and the aroma of home-cooked meals wafted through the house. During one such dinner, as they gathered around the table, Mr. Kingsley watched his grandchildren play. Little Mia, with her curly hair bouncing as she ran around, looked up at her grandfather and asked, "Why didn't you come to my birthday party?" The question pierced Mr. Kingsley's heart. He realized how much he had missed out on by allowing fear to dictate his choices. That evening, after the kids went to bed, Mr. Kingsley sat with Sarah and Abraham on the porch under a starlit sky. "I want to be a part of your lives," he said earnestly. "I've missed so much already." Sarah replied softly, "It's never too late, Dad. We want you here with us." Abraham added, "We're all learning together. Let's build new memories." In that moment, they all felt a sense of hope, a belief that healing was possible. As the seasons changed, so did their family dynamics. They started creating new traditions, family game nights filled with laughter and friendly competition, movie marathons that turned into cozy bonding moments, and weekend outings to the park where they could enjoy nature together. One sunny Saturday, they decided to have a picnic at the park. Mr. Kingsley brought his famous potato salad, a recipe he had perfected over the years. As they spread out the blanket and shared stories, he felt a warmth in his heart that had been absent for far too long. With each passing day, Mr. Kingsley began to understand his children better. He learned about Abraham's passions and dreams, how he aspired to open his own business one day. Inspired by this ambition, Mr. Kingsley offered to help him network within his professional circles. "You have a vision, Abraham," he said earnestly during one of their conversations. "Let me help you make it a reality." Abraham was taken aback by his father-in-law's newfound support but felt grateful for the encouragement. However, the path wasn't entirely smooth. There were moments when old wounds reopened, when Mr. Kingsley would inadvertently make comments reflecting his past biases or when Sarah would feel the sting of rejection resurfacing. One evening, during a family discussion about race and identity, Mr. Kingsley made an offhand remark that upset Sarah. She felt her heart race as she tried to find the right words. "Dad," she said firmly but calmly, "we've come so far, but we still have work to do. We need to be mindful of our words." Mr. Kingsley listened intently, realizing that his journey toward understanding was ongoing. He apologized sincerely and promised to be more aware of his language moving forward. These conversations became crucial in their healing process, each discussion a step toward deeper understanding. As time passed, the bond between Sarah, Abraham, and Mr. Kingsley grew stronger than ever. They celebrated holidays together, Thanksgiving dinners filled with gratitude and joy, Christmas mornings bursting with excitement as the children unwrapped gifts surrounded by love. On one memorable Christmas Eve, they gathered around the fireplace to share stories of their favorite holiday memories. Mr. Kingsley spoke about his childhood traditions and how he wished he could have shared those with Sarah when she was younger. Through these moments of connection, Mr. Kingsley realized that he had not only regained his family but also gained a new perspective on life, one that embraced diversity and love without prejudice. To further bridge gaps within their community, Sarah and Abraham decided to host a series of family events focused on inclusion and understanding different cultures. They invited neighbors and friends from various backgrounds to share their stories and experiences. At one such event, they set up booths representing different cultures, food tasting stations filled with dishes from around the world and storytelling corners where people shared their unique journeys. Mr. Kingsley took an active role in these events as well, sharing his own story of transformation with others who had faced similar challenges. He became an advocate for acceptance within their community, a testament to how far he had come. In the end, Sarah's love for Abraham had not only brought them together but also healed their family in ways they never thought possible. They learned that forgiveness is not just an act, it's a process, a journey filled with ups and downs but ultimately leading to deeper connections. Together, they forged a new legacy, a legacy built on love, understanding, and the courage to embrace change. And as they looked toward the future, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as a family. If this story inspires you, please hit the subscription button now. Remember, we are building a community of kind-hearted people. Thanks for watching. Please share this story with your friends and family.